It's a Gundam!
Super Draco here, and welcome back to It's a Gunpla, the show whose name I didn't think out very well because it was originally meant for me to build Gunpla. Anyway, so we are continuing real grade GaoGaiGar. In this episode, we are going to finish up GaiGar, and at the end there's going to be a little bonus because I'm going to go ahead and transform it into Galeon. Just as a little bonus for everyone who stuck with me through these videos. So, the good news is the content pipeline continues, because after this it'll probably be Optimus Prime, and then after Optimus Prime it'll probably be Ecto 1, because I finally got I've got a bunch of content to work on for a change. So just for those that aren't familiar with it, next, now that GaiGar will be finished in this video, then we're going to do the Gao machines. After the Gao machines are done, then I have Goldie Marg, and then GaoGaiGar will be fully complete. Then we move on to Optimus Prime and Ecto 1. Probably Optimus Prime and then Ecto 1 at the end. Because Ecto 1, I don't want to make more videos for it, only for it to go out of stock again for another 2 or 3 months. Let me just go look at my channel real quick. The last Ecto 1 video I did was in November, which means I got it in October. So yeah, it's been about 3 months. So, an interesting thing they did with GaiGar's legs, the outer thigh panel actually expands, so his leg is a little more proportionate as GaoGaiGar. And that is a really cool feature that I entirely was not expecting. Because this model does a lot of cool stuff, a lot of things I was not expecting. And maybe it's because I stay away from these 1:144 scale models that I didn't know they were doing cool stuff. And you see it, it's brewing. And now a moment of ADD with Super Draco. Okay, and so full moment of ADD here because I am breaking out the lining pen. Because why finish building it and line it all at once when I can just randomly start doing the leg? Now, admittedly, you could do this with the thin lining paint and the capillary action. For simplicity, I generally like using the pen. And on a kit this size, I'm still going to have to do cleanup regardless. So why not just go with the pen, because I can be a little more accurate with it. Or at least the saturation I'm looking for. I mean, doing it through capillary action, you just got to take your time to get the saturation you're looking for, but still. Now, I'm not going to go too crazy with the lining on this because, well, frankly, most of GaiGar is going to be not visible because of GaoGaiGar. And since mine is probably going to spend most of its life as GaoGaiGar, you know, I'm not super worried about getting a perfect lining. You know, if you know you want it perfect regardless of modes, great. But I like to call this lazy practicality. So now that that's out of the way, we are going to get back to building the leg. So, to the surprise of probably nobody, that this build is extremely similar to the other leg. So I know I've talked about GaoGaiGar as a show, I've talked about the mecha, and the principal characters, or the primary characters I guess you call them. Now, these legs do have a double jointed knee, and there is a reason for that. And again, for those that are familiar with GaoGaiGar, you already know what the reason is, and it's because his waist turns backward, or GaiGar's legs turn back, or not legs, his waist turned backward for the combination into GaoGaiGar. So his knees work both ways. It also allows his legs to be articulated as Gaelion. So anyway, something I like to do when I'm feeling chill videos like this is I like to look at my lists. Let's see. Hey, I've got a new subscriber to shout out. So let's, and it's in, I'm not entirely sure what language that is, so let's go to Google. Okay, it appears to be Korean. I'm going to apologize for butchering this, Bogsonig. And that translates to Sonic or Sionic Park. So, I apologize for butchering the pronunciation. I tried. I really did. But thank you for subscribing. Korea is an unusual, I shouldn't say unusual, but for my little channel, it's nice to see that it's getting attention from other places other than the United States, Russia, and the Philippines. So, and now just as kind of an FYI, I did go back and do the lining on the arms. You know, I should have just done it all together instead of stopping in the middle of building the legs to just spontaneously start lining, but I'm blaming the ADD with this on this one, so hence the me. And so now we have some legs. So we'll set those off to the side, and normally I'd probably not go for a video that this video is going, or for a video this length, but since I'm including an extra thing, we'll build the crotch and then transform it and run a little longer than normal. Now, it includes the drop-down legs. I'm used to seeing this in master grade kits, but here for GaoGaiGar, it's actually kind of brilliant because it allows you to change the position of his legs to help his proportions. Because this is a recurring problem. It's not unique to GaoGaiGar, Combining robots and transformers often have a similar problem. That their waist, not the waist, but their pelvic region is kind of scrunched, and it really offset or unbalances the dimensions. So GaoGaiGar here is fixes this by having his legs on a drop down, so they drop down lower, and GaoGaiGar's expanded skirt armor kind of covers that up. So, credit to Kunio Okawara for the design, and then credit to the people that designed this kit to try to work around the limitations of physical plastics. Because that's the one thing a lot of people don't think about is, on screen they can fudge the proportions and the dimensions to make it look better. Whereas in the real world you can't do that. And so, a nice little bit of detailing here. It even includes a little tiny tail for Gaileon. Now, I guess I have to be negative at least a little bit. I believe I'm contractually obligated and ethically obligated. This kit isn't perfect. It's good. It does a lot of good things. But I think the biggest problem it has is its own size. It is doing a lot for a small model. And this might come off as me being entitled, overbearing, condescending. It may not come off well with me saying this, but honestly, I love GaoGaiGar. I love building this kit, but I really think that this is something that should be reserved for a larger scale. I mean, it doesn't have to be a 1:60 scale or a perfect grade thing, but, maybe 1:100 scale would be better. Because I remember the Zabungo build and how many problems it had, and in all honesty, it's a 1:72 scale kit, so it's actually scaled bigger than a Master Grade Gundam kit. But all of its problems actually wouldn't have been so bad if it was smaller. And this is kind of the reverse. A lot of the issues with this are a result of the fact that it is small. So anyway, I feel like to be ethical I have to be negative about something. Because, in all honesty, I had a lot of fun with this kit. It was very good. And, it's something I wouldn't have necessarily bought. Because I had the Soul Chogokin GaoGaiGar, which is awesome. But this is also very, very good. The Soul Chogokin also had to address some of the issues as well. Because, like, the Soul Chogokin actually got around the hand issue, because GaoGaiGar's hands to transform have to be able to fit inside the engine pods of Stealth Gao. So most things, including this kit, make the engine pods bigger than they are in the anime. The Soul Chogokin addressed that by including hand options for GaoGaiGar, as well as Gaigar. So the hand options effectively fix the issue, because instead of having a hand that fits inside, you had options. You had a fully articulated hand that could transform, as in the anime, but then they had a more properly scaled hand for the size of it, So the forearms were actually better proportioned. Now, having said that, I actually think this kit does most of the transformation better than the Solar Chogokin. Except for one thing, the Solar Chogokin had a spring-loaded gimmick that when you insert Liner Gao into GaoGaiGar, that it expands his torso a little bit. So you see with the legs lower for GaoGaiGar, they sit way out of GaoGaiGar's skirt armor. So then we just pop him together and scoot the legs up and he's good to go. And he can do the claw attack that he did in the anime. Okay, so for the closing moments of this, we are going to transform him from GaoGaiGar to GaoLeon. So, first off, I'm trying to figure out how the hands work. If you angle the hands in the correct direction, the claws will actually slide over them. Here I'm just popping the hands off because I hadn't figured that out, and I did not check the instructions. Always check your instructions on something expensive. So there he is with the claws. They work. I'm not a big fan of the orange of the claws. I think they should have been I think they would have been better if they were cast in the same gold as they use on GaoGaiGar itself, but maybe that's animation accurate. Let me check and I'll come back. Some quick analysis, i.e. a Google search, has shown me that the claws have been both gold and orange depending on the scene and the media. Because the original toys had orange claws, and in the anime there are scenes where the claws are orange and scenes where they're also gold. Alright, so to transform to GaoGaiGar, you want to open his arms up and then pull that little piece out. Or transform to GaoLeon, sorry. Once you've done that, you want to take the lion head, pull it up, which will take the humanoid head and drop it down into the torso. And then once it's all the way in, you're going to rotate the lion head 180 degrees to cover everything up. And then fold that panel back up. Then you're going to close the shoulders. You're going to spin the waist around 180 degrees. Now on the back here, you're going to straighten the arms down as they will be properly positioned, and then you're going to open up his butt flaps, and you're going to unfurl them and pull out his tail. And there's a nice little peg on the tail so you can get your fingernail up on it and get it out. And then another little tab to help you get the little tip out. And as you can see, in between cuts, I actually did panel line most of this. I did not do the vents on the lion head because there's actually stickers, or are they decals, that go in the vents on the lion head to make them a little more anime accurate. So you want the hand in that orientation and the claw fold around it, and then you can just rotate the forearm. So here we're going to rinse and repeat on the other side. And now we've got the front half done. So on the back leg, you just are going to use that extra knee joint to fold them backwards. I actually believe you're supposed to collapse the ankle, which I don't remember if I do here or not. Because I'm not going to lie, I wasn't planning to film this in this video. I thought about doing it as a separate video. And so then just going to arrange the hip skirts, and there we have Guy Leon. And he looks really good, especially with the small amount of panel lining I've done. Somebody who's really into it probably do something great. Thanks for watching. Check out my fantasy story on Fiction Press, King of Mercenaries, and I'll see you for, I think, Drill Gals next.